Geoff, longer reads in the papers today. Ten Hag, as ever, he always features on the Sunday papers because Man United invariably play on Sundays. But he says he's only been able to pick his first choice 11 once. I mean,
hang on.
I'm trying to think. I don't know what his first choice 11 is for a start off, but
listen, we should respect the people that text in. He's quite right. Hughes was due to play for Wales in a Euro 88 qualifier versus Czechoslovakia on the same day his Bayern side faced Borussia Mönchengladbach. So what did he do? He played the full 90 minutes for Wales despite losing 2-0, hopped on a private jet back to Germany.
And came off the bench. Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, yeah, amazing.
He wouldn't have any sympathy with a manager now, would he?
No.
I mean, not many can throw that at the players and say, hang on, I've played twice in one day. Get out there.
No, Pat Nevin 2 in 2 days. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Anyway, back to Ten Hag, Geoff. He's only been able to pick his first choice 11 once. We don't really know what his first choice 11 is, but has he got a genuine reason for a whinge?
Well, he said, didn't he? Because it's the injuries. He's only the choice once, and only one time I had a full squad to pick from. It was the City home game. Was his only time he's been able to pick. So, I mean, that is, if it's true, that's a remarkable...
Well, that's what he says.
That's a remarkable statistic. It also, if you are in that Manchester United squad and you hear that and you weren't in the team that day, what's that going to do for you?
Yeah. Not boost your confidence, certainly.
It's not great, is it?
Do you think he gets a bit of a bad rap? I mean, he made 2 finals last year, won one of them. Could make another one this year. That'll be 3 in 2 seasons. Fine. In the old days, that would have been considered a success, but now the domestic cups are seen as slightly marginal to a measure of your progress, aren't they?
I think that there's no question they have been devalued, but you've only got to look at the nature of the teams that are put out in rounds compared to Premier League and Champions League amongst the big 6 or the big clubs, if you like. There's no question of that.
So when we get down to this point...
Exactly. As Pep said yesterday. It's the early rounds. Honestly, I think you could argue a cup run can save you, but not in the long term. Not in the long term.
Well,
if he
didn't do Louis van Gaal any good at all. He got sacked on the day while he was holding the FA Cup in his hand.
That was savage, wasn't it?
That was savage.
That was awful. Well, do you think if he won the FA Cup this year, Erik ten Hag, do you think it would save his job?
I don't think it would have any influence on what the big bosses decide going forward.
I agree.
So if they're thinking of getting rid of him, as many people seem to think, then no, I don't think it would have any effect.
Well, because his bosses will be looking at the Premier League and the Champions League. Simple as that.
Inconsistent performances.
No, that's where he has not cut the mustard, has he, in the Premier League?
What do you make of his demeanour? He seems fairly phlegmatic, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think phlegmatic is a good word. I don't think he's ever changed.
Didn't know we used those words on the Sun.
he is very, very... He's never up there and he's never down there either. And also as well, on the times I've interviewed him, and if on occasion you've got to put points to him or a scenario which is really, really not good, he doesn't really get angry. I've never seen him get really, really angry. He can express displeasure, but I do think he's a fairly calm, measured individual. I
mean, when you interview certain managers after games, you do it with a little bit of a gulp and this could be a bit of a battle. But Ten Hag, I don't detect that's ever a worry for you.
No, not at all. I mean, he's also got, because he's Dutch, as I found in my career, both players and managers, they tend not to take it personally. They can be quite. You can put it to them quite forcefully and quite literally, and it's not a problem at all to them, none whatsoever.
So some managers, you ask, "Do you fear for your job?" And they're like, you can see them going puce. But Erik,
puce, and you'll get it back with
puce.
A bit extra as well. But no, I find that the Dutch football people in general that I've dealt with never tend to take it personally at all, and are very direct, and often, Sean, can give you really, really good quotes because they'll give you a very direct answer.
One man who I thought was giving very good answers this week and was extremely articulate, one Bellingham giving... I've got to be honest, I hadn't... Jude Bellingham talk for any particular length. He did the aftermatch for TNT Sports. He did the podium ahead of the semi-final, and he's largely been protected from doing any big TV stuff. And it seems that this week he came of age, and we saw a lot of the real Jude Bellingham. I think Robbie Fowler talks about how moving to Real has been great for him, doesn't he?
To be honest with you, I had interviewed him before.
Yeah, but this was long. This week was a real insight.
Sometimes, Sean, as you well know, some people say a lot and tell you nothing.
Yeah.
Other people don't say very much and tell you a huge amount. I can't remember a footballer of his age that I've been so impressed by. His demeanour, his focus, his athleticism, his ability, his humility. Honestly, he's almost unbelievable in that he has absolutely everything. Now, he handled everything in that pre-match press conference at the Etihad. Whatever was thrown at him, he was asked, why didn't you sign for Manchester City? He managed to navigate everything, not only without causing anybody any offence, but not because he'd been clearly PR trained, because he was just authentic. So I spoke to a number of clubs, but once Real Madrid were in for me, that was the place I wanted to go, etc. But you could throw anything at him and he'll answer it as well. I think he's an absolute breath of fresh air, not just as a player, but also as a person. And we often hear about footballers whose career are going awry, and you hear it said, they should look at the people around him. Well, the people around Jude Bellingham, we know central to it is his family. They are doing an absolutely fabulous job.
Robbie Fowler says in the Sunday Mirror, Jude's not just the real deal. He's a born Galactico playing on the Real for Real. He's a born Galactico, and that's the sort of player, the confidence, the presence, believes always belonged there from day one when he walked into Real Madrid.
Before the last World Cup, I remember talking to Steven Gerrard about England. I said, what do you think? He said, as long as they build it around Bellingham. I said, how good? He said, better than I was at that age.
Yeah,
I mean, and I don't know if you saw it, there was an interview where Stephen was pitchside, I think it was for TNT, and they spoke, and you could see the respect on both parts. It was a lovely, lovely moment, because to have that sort of compliment from a player of Gerrard's stature, but equally for Gerrard to enjoy watching that young man ply his trade and the way that he plays the game was something special.
In my experience, though, the youngsters usually, they come up to the microphone, are pretty good, and you think, why have we protected them? I remember seeing Ryan Giggs' first interview, and I thought, I wonder why Fergie held him back all those times. But you have said to me before, doesn't necessarily follow that the youngsters will be good on TV.
No, look, you've got to remember, they're human beings. They're all different. They have different characters. I remember Wayne Rooney, Paul Stretford, his agent, protected him for a long, long time. And he said, look, at this stage of his career, and also at this moment, Wayne is quite shy, so I don't think it would benefit him. I don't think it would benefit his career. And I think Paul Stretford was absolutely right. And when Wayne was right and ready to face the media, as you know, having interviewed him yourself, funny.
I find him really, really good once he does interviews. He's great.
I think we have to be careful in the media. We have to be careful not to rush these things. And particularly, I can see you making...
We're impatient, though. We want them to talk to us. You would have been ringing up Paul Stretford saying, come on, get him on. We need to talk to him.
Yes.
He's brilliant. He's 16. He scored an amazing goal against Arsenal. Get him on the telly.
Yeah, and of course, but he was doing his job to look after the client, and he did an excellent job of it. We don't know. I mean, Sir Alex Ferguson always protected his players. He didn't degree in Ryan Giggs' case. You know, he didn't want to expose him to the wider media. So, and look at the career he had.
We protected Paul Scholes for 20 years, and then we discovered at the end of his career that actually could talk, and he was quite articulate for 20.
There's plenty of those that hid behind that.
That's right, yeah, good old Scholesy. This is Sunday Edition on talkSPORT.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.